Tell us, how much faster is 5G versus 4G?
Well, no, it's not just faster. It takes the computing layer out of the device and puts it on the network. And so that means that rather than having to have a device to do computing, the network does the computing. That means all that data can be computed on the network. So you really just need a bunch of dumb devices. And there's so many dumb devices. You know, today on a 4G network, you have 10,000 devices per square mile. On a 5G network, you can have 3 million devices per square mile. So you can literally put devices everywhere. You can have robots, you can have sensors. All of those things will be working together. And most of that traffic will be machine-to-machine communication. A very small fraction of it will be, you know, people talking on cell phones or looking at videos. So it's a completely different world that, you know, probably is best, you know, viewed by looking at some sci-fi movie, you know, like Guardians of the Galaxy, in a very smart city, where essentially the city reacts to your desires.
Well, it sounds actually very convenient. So what's wrong with that? Why is that a potential threat?
Well, in that convenience, it also means that all of that data, because essentially the security standards are Chinese standards, that data is not secure. And so a nation state or just a hacker can have access to everything you do in your life. You know, it's completely gone away from the device now. It's gone into the world around you, and all these cameras are watching everything you do. And so the ability to know what you do, know what your intentions are, know what your desires are, and then take that information and influence you, just like I talked about, you know, with Roy Jones, the liked the tweet. That becomes much more seamless and imperceptible to you. You know, you just end up being charged more for things, or you find out your child didn't get into university, or that job you were expecting didn't come through. Nobody ever tells you why it didn't come through.
Right, it's kind of like what Facebook throttles you, or you mentioned Twitter. You like a tweet that favors the Dalai Lama, your Roy Jones example, and next thing you know that you lose your job. So it really is mass control, and if we go on the current track, you're saying it's mass control by the Chinese Communist Party.
Right, and so what we saw, the way the world was changing and the technology was going beyond where our laws could actually govern and ensure that Americans lived a life that had the freedoms that we were guaranteed in our Constitution. And so in order to reframe that, to bring back democracy in a digital sense, that we needed to rebuild the internet. We needed to make data itself secure and encrypted so that you owned your data and only you could determine who had access to that data. That became the equivalent to me, as I was thinking about it, to the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment basically gives Americans the right to stand up to an oppressive government, but if that government has acquired the ability to oppress you in ways that you're not aware of, then you really have surpassed the time when a gun really can defend your freedoms. You really need to own and control your data in a way that ensures that that data is, if it's monetized or, you know, used for a profit or used to influence you, you have an ability to know that and have a voice in that regard.